The calm before the storm for centuries. The galaxy had been a sprawling web of vast empires, ancient alliances, and technologically advanced species. The great powers of the galaxy, the Drakari, the Zorath, the Alivians, were known throughout. The stars for their age-old wisdom and superior technology. Their societies were built on millennia of knowledge and conquest, and their dominance seemed inevitable. Peace had been secured after countless wars, and the galaxy's history seemed to be one of tranquility, punctuated only by small-scale skirmishes and fleeting rebellions. But a storm was brewing. In the outermost reaches of the galaxy, in the cold, forgotten fringes of space, a dark empire was stirring. The Rethak, a race of alien warriors as old as time itself, had remained hidden from the eyes of the greater galaxy for millennia. A species born from chaos, they lived for one singular purpose: conquest. Over the centuries, they had quietly infiltrated, watching, learning, and waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Their empire was vast, but their approach was ruthless. The Rithak knew no diplomacy, no peace. They saw themselves as the ultimate species, superior without equal. To them, the galaxy was simply theirs for the taking. When the Rithak finally revealed themselves, they were more than prepared. Their fleet of warships was enormous, each ship a behemoth, bristling with weapons far beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Rithak were not interested in negotiations or treaties. They had come to destroy everything in their path and to impose their will on the galaxy. Every civilization, every species, no matter how powerful, was in their sights. And yet there was one species that had been dismissed by every other race in the galaxy as irrelevant: humanity. Humanity, a species born on the chaotic, dangerous world of Earth, was seen by the galaxy's great powers as little more than a footnote in history. Earth itself was referred to as a death world because of its hostile environment, with extreme weather, dangerous wildlife, and a history of conflict and war. Humans, with their limited technology and fragmented global unity, were considered insignificant in the grand scheme of galactic politics. But what the Rethak didn't know was that humanity's greatest strength was not in their technology or their numbers. It was in their hearts. And that heart would soon change the course of the galaxy's fate. The Rethak arrive. The first signs of the Rethak invasion came as a whisper, a distant flicker on the edges of human sensors. A few ships appeared on the outermost planets of the solar system, and within hours, the Earth's defense networks were overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the enemy's presence. Their ships didn't simply arrive. They filled the skies like a swarm of locusts, blotting out the sun. Their hulls were dark, jagged, and intimidating, their presence overwhelming. The Rethak didn't see Earth as a threat. They saw it as an obstacle, a speck in the universe that was to be wiped out without a second thought. They didn't care for Earth's primitive weaponry or its weak military forces. To them, humanity was a nuisance, a species that didn't even deserve to be considered. But what the Rethak underestimated was the capacity of humans to endure. Earth's leaders, though terrified, refused to capitulate. They gathered every resource, every weapon, and every ship they could muster. The military came together with civilian engineers, scientists, and strategists. They knew they had no hope of defeating the Rethak in a conventional battle. But they also knew one thing: humanity could survive, even in the most impossible of circumstances. While the Rethak fleet prepared for their first wave of destruction, humanity's leaders formed a plan. It wasn't about fighting strength, it was about fighting smart. With limited resources and no chance of conventional victory, humanity had only one choice: outsmart the Rethak. The first battle came quickly, and it was a disaster for Earth. The Rethak obliterated the outer defense stations with ease, their ships laying waste to everything in their path. Cities fell within hours, and the human fleet was decimated in moments. Yet, amid the chaos, a single human ship, captained by a brilliant but unknown officer, managed to slip past the Rethak fleet, initiating a counteroffensive. What the Rethak didn't realize was that this was only the beginning. Earth was far from finished. The unexpected advantage. In the aftermath of the initial destruction, something extraordinary began to unfold. While the Rithak celebrated their initial victory, they failed to recognize the one thing that would be their undoing: human resilience. The destruction of the Earth's outer defenses had only ignited a spark of resistance. Humanity's true power lay not in overwhelming force, but in their adaptability and ingenuity. Humanity's scientists, engineers, and military strategists working in secret began to develop new technologies, using scraps of Rithak technology they had managed to salvage. They studied the enemy's weaknesses, looking for anything that could turn the tide of the war. The human resistance began to grow in unexpected ways. They used guerrilla tactics to harass the Rithak, luring them into traps and creating diversions. Rather than fight head-on, humanity used the Rithak's own arrogance against them. The Rithak, overconfident in their superiority, failed to adapt to the unpredictability of human warfare. In a series of daring raids, human ships would attack from unexpected directions, using stealth and speed to outmaneuver their enemies. The Rithak's ships, large and lumbering, struggled to keep up. While the human forces were outmatched, their tactics, hit and run, ambushes, and sabotage, began to take a toll. They had no intention of winning through brute force. Instead, they wore down the Rithak's resources, one attack at a time. The tide was slowly turning. The Rithak, who had thought humanity would be an easy conquest, were beginning to question their assumptions. As Earth's defenders struck from the shadows, humanity's allies began to take notice. Allies in the shadows, as the war progressed, something remarkable happened. In the vastness of space, other civilizations, ranging from the peaceful Zorath to the mysterious, technologically advanced Etherians, watched the events unfold. Species that had once regarded humanity with contempt were now watching them with awe. The Zorath, a race known for their wisdom but reluctance to engage in warfare, had once dismissed humans as primitive. The Etherians, mysterious and ancient, had never shared their advanced technology with any other species. But now, seeing humanity fight against impossible odds, they began to reconsider. For the first time in millennia, the galaxy's greatest powers began to see humanity not as weaklings, but as powerful allies. Humanity's leaders had no illusions. They couldn't win this war alone. But with the help of their newfound allies, they began to build something even more formidable than they had imagined: a united front. The Zorath provided advanced defensive technologies, while the Etherians shared knowledge of galactic navigation and warfare strategies. What had once been a lone, desperate species was now at the center of a galactic alliance, united under the banner of defeating the Rithak. The final stand. The Rithak, realizing that humanity had turned the tide, launched their final assault. With a massive fleet, they moved toward Earth, preparing to finish what they had started. This would be their final act of conquest, their last attempt to annihilate humanity and claim the galaxy for themselves. But humanity was ready. In the final showdown, Earth's forces, now bolstered by their new allies, fought with everything they had. The space battle that ensued was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The combined fleets of humans and their allies clashed with the Rithak in a series of massive engagements, each one more intense than the last. Humanity's ships, though smaller and less powerful, fought with precision and cunning, exploiting every advantage. The battle raged on for days, with the fate of the galaxy hanging in the balance. And just when it seemed the Rithak were poised to win, a daring plan was put into motion. Using a combination of human strategy and alien technology, the coalition launched a decisive strike against the Rithak's flagship. In a stunning turn of events, humanity and its allies destroyed the heart of the Rithak Empire, bringing an end to their reign of terror. A new era. With the Rithak defeated, the galaxy entered a new era. The wars had ended and peace was restored, but it was a peace that came at a great cost. Humanity had lost millions in the fight for survival, but they had proven something more valuable than any weapon: They had shown the galaxy that no matter how small or insignificant a species might seem, they could stand against the greatest threats the universe could offer. Humanity had become the galaxy's champions. No longer the underdogs, they were now the heart of the Galactic Council. Their bravery, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit had saved the galaxy from destruction. And as they looked to the stars, they knew that their true journey was just beginning.